Breaking news. Russian nuclear extortion continues to fail. Russian morale has plummeted in the trenches of Avdiivka and Bakhmut, so Moscow is reviving nuclear blackmail tactics in an attempt to change the direction of the war. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on October 30, RIA Novosti, that the risk of a direct clash between nuclear powers has increased due to Western attempts to inflict strategic defeat on Russia. However, every time Russian leaders play nuclear brinksmanship, they are met with strong international opposition and are forced to back down. Shoigu made these comments at the Zhongshan Forum in Beijing, perfectly aware that China considers such nuclear threats to be unacceptable. He later clarified, Vedomosti, October 31, that he had been exaggerating the danger posed by nuclear weapons and that no changes were being considered to Russia's nuclear doctrine. Commentator Sergei Karaganov of Moscow was more reserved than usual when speaking at the carefully staged forum, Nezavizhimoy Vono Obosreni, October 12. Karaganov did not advocate for a preemptive nuclear strike but instead advocated for maintaining the status quo of nuclear deterrence. Kommersant, 30 October. After watching the routine exercises of Russian strategic forces 5 days before the Zhongshan Forum, Russian President Vladimir Putin refrained from making any assertive statements. Kremlin.ru, October 25. Due to the absence of Moscow's much-touted modern weapon systems, the exercises could only be considered small-scale. The old Tula, Delta IV class submarine, rather than one of the new Bore class submarines, simulated launching missiles from the Barents Sea. Izvestia, October 29. While the long-awaited -28 rupees Sarmat remains in production, CEDM, January 11, the Plesetsk Cosmodrome successfully launched an Rs-24 Yars intercontinental ballistic missile. In sum, the duration of these trials was limited, and their results were mixed. Nezavizhimaya Gazeta, October 26. Recent months have seen Russia boast about significant advancements in missile and nuclear technology development. Putin announced the successful test of a Burevestnik 9M730 cruise missile powered by a nuclear warhead at the start of October. The launch has not been confirmed by any third parties, and the feasibility of the project itself is still in question. The Insider, October 27. Putin often likes to boast about his country's wonder weapons. Once again, he spoke highly of the potential of Russia's space programs. He minimized the failure of the Luna 25 mission to the Moon during a visit to the Korolyov headquarters of space production company Energia. CEDM, August 14. Kommersant, October 26. As the domestic defense industry struggles to avoid Western sanctions and address personnel shortages, CEDM, January 11, Moscow's claims of a successful modernization of its nuclear capabilities ring false. As sanctions have severely limited access to critical parts needed for more modern technology, design bureaus within the Russian defense industrial complex are reconfiguring old Soviet technology. Corruption is widely accepted as standard practice in business, while scientists are blamed for technical failures and punished severely for high treason. Novaya Gazeta.eu, October 31. Russia's nuclear diplomacy is fraught due to the Kremlin's reluctance to openly display its nuclear weapons. This was clear during last month's debate over withdrawing from the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, Rossiyskaya Gazeta, November 2, CEDM, October 13, Carnegie Politica, October 20. Russian commentators have emphasized the historic nature of this action while denying any plans to resume nuclear testing anytime soon. Topwar.ru, 2 November. Kremlin propaganda has rationalized the decision by arguing that it would give Russia the same status as the United States, which has never ratified the CTBT. The Izvestia newspaper, cited in EDM on October 24, reports that some in Moscow are speculating that the United States is planning to conduct nuclear tests, to which Russia would be compelled to respond in kind. Only a few sober voices in Moscow dare to suggest that canceling CTBT ratification will have grave implications for Russia's international standing. As a result, the Kremlin can no longer credibly claim to be a champion of nuclear non-proliferation, Publico.ru, October 17. Few people share the nuclear extremism of Karaganov and others. However, it is widely acknowledged as a political reality that nuclear arms control cannot be implemented simultaneously with the special military operation. Moskovsky Komsomolets, October 9. The Russian Foreign Ministry has portrayed the United States' determination to resume consultations on strategic tests as disinformation designed to conceal Western efforts to weaken Russia's resistance to pressure. Kommersant, November 3. The news that China would hold talks with the United States on nuclear matters was even more surprising to Moscow. Nezavyzhimaya Gazeta, November 2. This does not constitute arms control negotiations, but it does establish formal channels of communication. At the Changshan Forum, Shoigu went into great detail about how the Russian leadership agrees with China in condemning U.S. hegemony. Eurasia Daily, October 30. But the Russian official overlooked the forum's motto, common security, lasting peace. Moscow typically misinterprets China's fundamental interest in maintaining global stability. Russian International Affairs Council, November 2. The growth of Moscow and Pyongyang's military ties is likely to cause concern in Beijing. It is possible that China will lose control of the situation on the Korean peninsula if North Korea delivers artillery shells to Russia in exchange for missile and possibly nuclear technologies. CEDM, November 3. Russian covert military ties with Iran are also cause for concern because they could give Tehran's nuclear program a boost. Svoboda, 30 October. Russia sees this as an opportunity to keep talking to Hamas despite Iran's escalation of the war in Gaza. Russia's nuclear posturing hasn't stopped the West from shipping advanced weaponry to Ukraine. The Ukrainian military's ability to launch far-ranging attacks on the Novorossiysk naval base and the Pskov airfield, CEDM, August 18, September 25, has also not been hindered. Moscow's nuclear rhetoric has been effectively muted due to Beijing's warnings. There is less concern now that Russian tactical nuclear weapons have reportedly been deployed on Belarusian territory. CEDM, April 4, May 23. Currently, the main threat emanates from Russia's connections with North Korea and Iran, which are eager to supply old artillery shells and low-tech drones for advanced technological know-how in return. For the time being, deterrence is more effective than nuclear blackmail, but this relationship is dynamic. If Moscow were to try any more shenanigans, the West would have to respond with a new package of collective measures.